Alright, what's up everybody? Today I am going to show you my whole knife collection. Now, I know that some people have been asking me about this, and I said I'm gonna do this, and it was supposed to be my last video of 2023, and then it didn't happen because life happened. Also, I have COVID again for the third time, so fuck. Anyways, I have a lot of knives here. Before I get started though, I am going to mention that I think four of my knives aren't here. It's the Bandage Stitch, the Fix Starlight, the what was it? The Rich, the HR Rich, and oh shit, there's one more. Oh, and the BB Barfly Superfly. Those are all out for modding. Unfortunately, I did not get those back in time. I was hoping I could. They're still out. But if you want to know my thoughts on them, I have videos on each and every one of those, I do believe. So, without further ado, I'm gonna get started with these over here. This is the Andux. It is cheap, and I'm going to give it as a giveaway eventually. This is not a Balisong, but I'm just going to show this off. I did a video on this really cool Karambit folder. Here is the Thai Turbid, designed by Sauri, but produced by LDY. It has an LDY bag. I'm trying to sell this. It's nice, but it's just a smidge too handle bias. I do also have an aluminum one, and I'll get to later. This is titanium chainwich. It's pretty lightish weight, and I like it, but not necessarily enough to keep. Over here, we have three of my cheaper knives. We have the Orion 1.5. This is the best budget Balisong out there on the market right now. This is like 75 bucks and fucking insane value. If you want the live version, 85 bucks. Here is a Benchmade 67 clone, or 63 clone. I think it's 67. I don't remember. I got this in a trade. It was like a $50 value. I did not expect to like it as much as I do. Yeah, this is just a sweetener for a trade, and it turns out that this thing's actually pretty fucking sweet, and it's actually got solid tolerances. Speaking of solid tolerances that are surprising, we have the Atropos Spy. This one was anodized to be all blue. And yeah, I don't know how they did this, but someone managed to get this to have basically no play. There's like very, very slight resistance on the handle swing on one of the handles, but yeah, this knife is really fun, albeit it is quite hefty. I think it is, I don't think it's 5 ounces, but it's definitely up there. It's like 4.6 or something. It's also surprisingly very slippery for a titanium knife. Anyways, moving on, we have the wall up here. I guess I'll go in order. Oh shoot, here's the bamboo trainer. I had a live blade that was yellow handles, and then I bought the green handled trainer, and I sold the handle swap with the live blade to Dasuko. This thing is a bit blade biased, but fans amazingly. Pretty light. Next up we have my Glider Bermuda. The Glider Bermuda is a bit beat and has some issues. I made a video explaining the situation with this, but essentially the hardware on the Bermuda is so fucking dog shit. This is also a zippy blade insert as well as a zippy spacer, so it actually is really nice. It's on bearings, and I'm not afraid to beat the shit out of this knife, so I need to flip this more often, because sometimes I'm like, and then I'm like, actually it's like super cheap and it's a good beater. I actually also really recommend the spacers, but do be aware that the hardware is so bad. Next up, we have my Balisong Z. I got this from Balisong Bear. I sold my other Tally Z. I really love the scimitar blade, but I figured, hey, this blue Cerakote is pretty rare, and this crisp blade is also relatively rare, so I was like, fuck it. There's a bit of weird discoloration here. It looks like nail polish or some shit. I don't fucking know. Honestly, though, it's fun, and yeah, and because it's a trainer, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna treat it like it's a safe side on both, even though technically crisp blades are typically, but on both sides. Next up, we have my ultralight. I commissioned Zippy to give me these blade inserts, and he did it. I also have these handles inserts. NRB did say that all the teal handles are blemished, and that's because they lose their luster over, well, actually very little time. It's like, it felt near instant. But alas, that said, I love and adore this thing. This thing is 2.5 ounces or some shit like that. That's way too light for some people, but frankly, this thing's fucking great. Next we have the BB Barracuda. Barracuda is a peculiar flipper. Kind of long, very neutral feeling. Honestly, I don't always know how I feel about it. As in, I like it, but like, do I like it enough to keep it? But I bought it at retail price, so I probably will. Also, unfortunately, got a teeny bit of scuffing on one of the handles, like there. But all in all, this is really great. It opens bottles the best out of any of my bottle openers. So, yeah, it's definitely a really good utility. Also, it's unique, so I'll probably keep it. Next up, the Serum Velocity Decode. This is a weird Balisong. This Anno was supposed to also be on the faces, but the guy fucked it up, and he also sucks, and I don't like him. This is a Korean Balisong. It's weird. It's got a cool trainer. I definitely over-traded for this. Unfortunately, this specific one has, like, pretty shitty tolerances. It had egregious tap, which I fucking despise, but thankfully I managed to get rid of it with thick washers, and then Alex Wynn, who I lent it to, was like, this, it's not for me, but he put in some Loctite somewhere to help keep the tolerances good. So, despite it being very weird and funky and having the widest handle gap, I do like it. It's got a lot of character, and I'm still hoping to find a handwritten note at some point that has the secret code on it. Also, my choices are to go vertically down for trainers or across for live blades, but I think I'm going to go through just row by row. This is a Balisong my dad gave me, and his brother-in-law, my mom's older brother, gave it to him. He has passed away a long time ago, and he gave it to my dad in like the 80s, so this Balisong is like 40 years old. Unfortunately, it doesn't really have good handle swing. I wish it did, because I would, in fact, flip this. But it doesn't flip. Not really. It does have a latch. It is from some Asian country, probably. I couldn't tell you if it's from the Philippines itself or Hong Kong. No clue. But it's really long. Unfortunately, it doesn't flip. Some other people have similar ones or the same one, but it do flip. Next up, so like this top row, kind of my weirdos. We have the heaviest lucha. I have every insert in here and all the weights in here, because why the fuck not? Fuck you. It's heavier. It's even more handle bias than before. And yeah, but I like how it looks. It is a nice stonewash steel, both handles and blade. It is a very, very sturdy blade. It's on bearings, and I'm not worried about using it to shuck oysters, which is what this is more or less used for, as well as just honestly being a looker. Good knife. We have the Delta 50. No, it's not for sale. I like this too much to give it up. It's got a... I mean, it looks fine up here, but whatever this had, it's kind of eh. This is on bushings, and I do really like the Delta 50 blade. Sorry, I'm going to try and get this to focus. Yeah, it's a funky little guy. Really thick rectangular handles. But a really fun collector's piece, and still a very fun flipper. Definitely handle biased. Yeah. Not for sale, though. I had to, it was so hard. I did get it from a guy in Finland to get this one. Oopsies. Next up, we have the Tachyon 2 clone. It's donut colored. It is aluminum and has bushings, but despite it having bushings, it has really bad tap. Unfortunately, there's a lot of play, especially in the safe handle with the right handle too. Maybe someone can help me get some of that tap out, but it's a really fun knife. And I always wanted a donut one. Doesn't hurt that it is a Tac 2 clone. Here we go, just because Alpha Beasts are really heavy. This is a vintage knife also from the 80s. This is by Valor. It is either the 5.65 or the 5.67. We don't know. Really bad play. But it's a vintage knife, really light, very neutral. It's cool. I thought about selling this, but I got it for so cheap, and it's cool to have a knife from this era. We have the Tachyon 3. Sorry, I have to sneeze. There we go. Anyways, Tachyon 3, aluminum, beater, no latch. This is Venom. I always thought that Venom was blue. He's actually black. But the handles are blue too, so fuck you, everyone. I always picked Blue Venom and Marvel vs. 2. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Anyways, it's on bearings, but feels pretty good. It's like very springy. It's got a lot of bounce to it when you flip it. It's beat, so it was really cheap. Anyways, this is cool. Maybe one day I'll try and get the Super just because it's so outlandishly colored, but Also has a cool spring latch, but not this one. This one is, latchless. Then we have the Louis Almazan Custom. I have, this is the heaviest knife I own. It's 9 ounces. It is from the Philippines. It's got a beautiful latch. Don't flip this. This cannot chaplain. It will cut you. It's not that sharp, but still. Also, if you're wondering, these posters are from a game I worked on called She Dreams Elsewhere. I need to hang the rest up at some point. All right, I guess I'll go down. These are some of my grails. All right, this video is going to come out before the unboxing, but this is the Ryworks GA. More thoughts on this later. It's a little handle bias. It's just a smidge hefty at 4.55. Got this beautiful laser, but it's so ridiculously expensive that I'm going to try and sell it or trade it for a knife that I'm really hunting for, such as maybe what's the word I'm thinking? A Damascus Genesis V3 or an Idolo, possibly trading up. This is a really, really well-made knife, though. It's got a bit of a ring to it. Next up, we have the Mantis Thistle. This is a handmade knife with carbon fiber scales. This is Thistle number 11. It's got a bit of a kukri. It's got carbon fiber spacers. So it being 11, it's still kind of the earlier era of his thistles, but I'm still very happy to own a Mantis knife because I legitimately thought I would never be able to afford one, and I got this for a pretty solid price. Thank you, Cameron, for helping me acquire this because the original seller was an absolute dickweed. Here we have a Phobos number 28. This Phobos, I believe, was anodized and modded by Broken Blades. You can't tell, but this logo and I think the number have a glow-in-the-dark ink. This Phobo is also very neutral, possibly because of the T15 hardware that Solver Vaustra, Alex Wen put in and installed. I really love this. I got no weights in here. I also had a Phobos Horizon, and I was really split between which two, but honestly, the texture of this is just really smooth and comfortable. Albeit, it does make it feel quote-unquote cheaper, but fuck that. This is my knife. I'm allowed to pick which one I want. It's got a good sound to it, too. Though I do think the Horizon sounds a little better. Next, we have the Zizix. Honestly, one of my favorite flippers. I learned that this is Paul's first Balisong design that he actually produced. This one is number 36. I inked this myself, but that's why it looks like shit here on here, because it was supposed to be white or silver ink, and then just kind of went to hell, and it's kind of a pain to scrub. But inking went really well over here. Great jimping. Really fun, unique looking flipper. I really like the sound. Alex didn't like it, but that's okay. I love this thing. It's got amazing balance and tip weight and handle weight, and it's just... And also, I'm lucky because this has one of the better tolerances. There's a little bit of play here, but I don't know if I'll bother sending it to Paul to get it tuned, because he did offer, but I still got to ship it. And then I won't be able to flip it. I mean, not that I'm hurting for things to flip, because I am a divorced woman in my early 30s, and I said, well, all that money I was saving for a wedding. Anyways, here is the Sarin. It is Marin blade with this diamondback laser etching and serif handles. I have zippy lightweights in here. Surprisingly, though, for a serif V2, it actually has like a lot of play, relatively speaking, for a machine-wise knife. No tap, of course, but I'm going to send this in. It should be covered by the warranty, thankfully. Thank you for Beaver for selling this to me for such a good price. I honestly do think that I prefer the serif blade over the Marin blade, but I mean, look at this. I always wanted a Marin blade. They look so good. Also the Opus blade, but I think I prefer the serif blade the most. Here we have my personal Cygnus that I have modded over time. I asked Blocks to do this fade. It originally came with these green inserts, and then I bought purple ones. I have the carbon fiber channel spacers. I have this feather blade, but I really want the V2 blade because apparently it's a better balance. Someone said it was more handle bias, but I think it's supposed to be more neutral. Anyways, the carbon fiber spacers help. They do have weights that you can put in, so if you do like that handle bias, you can keep it. But these spacers, oh my god, they're a game changer. I've made a video just on the spacers, and it sounds amazing, and it flips even better too. Still a bit more handle bias than my preference, but I love this knife and I love how it looks, and fuck you. Oh yeah, and then I bought also these special scales from Will Zhang. So, man, I sunk a lot of money into this knife alone. Next up, we have my titanium trainers. There should be the Superfly, and I don't think I actually filled that one with another titanium trainer. Here we have the Seigai Ha trainer. I prefer the trainer over the live blade. The live blade has some flaws, but also I think the trainer blade looks cool. And here's the very faint Seigai Ha pattern. I just learned that that's what the pattern's actually called, which is why the knife is called that. Anyways, trainer blade looks pretty cool. Number 12. I picked one of these up and I didn't like how much I liked it. I was like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Blake has a certain way of talking about things that I'm kind of like, but shit, this is really good. I like this a lot. It's got a bit of a ring to it. It's pretty lightweight. A bit more rectangular for my taste, but honestly, despite that, I really enjoy this. We have the Jeff Dumas EX11. Jeff himself tuned this for me. Thank you, Jeff. And he extracted the screws. Originally, these handles were on a blade that was stonewashed and looked like shit, and this was on silver handles. Unfortunately, I've dropped this enough that some of the Cerakote has gotten fucked up a little bit. That was by Major Alice, I'm pretty sure. And the handle anno is Blox Toys. I very much enjoy this pink surface and teal distress. It is on Kuski barrels, one set each, and that makes it flip beautifully neutral. Oh my goodness. It's a little bit square, and the edges are a little bit coarser than I'd prefer, but frankly, while I keep seesawing if I want to sell this or keep it, I mean, it's a beautiful knife. Next up, we have my personal rep trainer, JT scales, which unfortunately got cracked. From the modder, we have FF scales by Foxfire Factory. They have this nice toxic anno, TrueLink gold hardware, MCK G10 channel spacers, and Minecraft Chicken God Diamond V2 trainer blade. It is just under 4 ounces. It is dead neutral, and I love this. One issue, unfortunately, is that it's got a pretty small handle gap, and unfortunately, like just a little bit of blade rub and tab, which is why I sent it out. Liners got fixed, but the scales got cracked when they were cranking it, and unfortunately JT's not in the game anymore, so these are really nice pretty purple scales too. And then I inked this diamond myself. Ooh, I gotta fix that at some point. I don't know if I ever will. Right, we have the titanium Antarctic anno by the Jurassic Mark. No weights in the ends of the handles. I think that honestly the Antarctic has my favorite weight system, as it is really easy to fuck around with. Has, I want to say, either 6 or 8 pins in each, up to. You can have none. While the Antarctic is like ridiculously slippery, the titanium Antarctic is the exact same weight and proportions. It feels, the difference between the titanium and the aluminum one is like so minimal, and so I very much enjoy this. It feels very round and smooth in my hands. It's got a cool sound to it, and I like their minimalistic kind of design. We also have a Beglary. This is a What Would Bally Jesus Do? Thank you, JJ. And this was a yo-yo. I forgot the name of the guy. It was over Facebook. Next we have some aluminum trainers. We have a Nautilus V2. I'm like, maybe I'm trying to sell this, but honestly, it seems the value has gone way down. It's in good condition. It's, let's see, winter Nautilus with a really nice red. It's growing on me. I am a Nibali's Trident apologist, but the Nautilus V2 is alright. It's just a bit more handle biased for my taste. But it does look cool. That said, These new are like 220, so just get one secondhand. Kanto Origin, technically the prototype, but more like the V1. He just announced the V2. I was thinking about maybe selling this, but frankly, I just really like it. I find that the texture is a little coarse on my hands that are very sensitive, but I do have these glow-in-the-dark zippy handle inserts. They're the featherweights that are originally designed for squid, but they fit perfectly for this. I really love the blade design. The bite indicator is very mild. I don't give a fuck personally, but I really like this Balisong. I think this is honestly one of the best channel aluminum trainers, and it's oopsies, holy shit. It's got a decent speed channel, good grip, jimping. It's got basically everything you could ask for. And so, I don't know, people be sleeping on this. I made a video about underrated Balisongs, and this one was included. Squid Trainer V4. This is a limited edition. As you can see here, it is the Arctic 2022, number 8 out of 20. Same guy that gave me that yo-yo. I'm so sorry for forgetting your name, buddy. But it also has penguins, and I love penguins. If you know me, you know I love penguins. Anyways, it's unfortunately just a smidge beat. I had a V3 that rung a lot more than this, but I fucking hate washers only knives, and this has really good tune. Yeah, I don't know. I like flipping this enough, and it feels good, and I like that it's limited edition. It has penguins. Next, we have the Jigsaw, which is going to go out on loan very soon. There's unfortunately just like an itsy bit of scuffing. They don't make aluminum jigsaws anymore, and I don't know, these tolerances are fucking crazy. But Haystack, Chris, my man, please respond to your fucking messages. Anyways, Jigsaw, very, very neutral. Kind of short handle, short blade. The most killer fucking bite that you can get on a non-live blade. Seriously, these teeth hurt. Really cool. And if you like neutral Balisongs, it's got a lot of character. It's not the most like fast flipper. It doesn't feel super fast, but it does feel good, very comfortable. Unfortunately, not in production anymore, so good luck trying to find one. They do make titanium ones though. Well, theoretically, fucking Haystack doesn't respond to his fucking messages, and it does seem to be on the DMC handles, which I'll get to later. Hello. We have the Bite Blades Titan with TrueLink hardware and special edition spacers with like these gold flakes in it. This Balisong is great. It's like so beautifully neutral. I lent this and the Segai head trainer to Ted, and Ted could not put this down. He's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about the other knife. I should try that." But yeah, Titan is really fun. Unfortunately, Bite Blades just fucking disappeared. I've heard mixed things about what happened to him. Someone said he went to college. Someone else said that, I don't know, he got really depressed. I'm not sure. So you cannot get a new one of these. You have to get it secondhand. But if you can get it secondhand, I very much do recommend that you do, and make sure that you get it tuned, because not all of them have good tuning. This one, though, this one's impeccable tune. The Bally's Trident. This one, I think, is pretty good value. I like it. I do need to get this tuned at some point, because I've become less tolerant of play. But I like how lightweight it is. I put on the zippy end caps. It also has some of the most original jimping that I've seen. It's very unique to it. Some people don't like the ring. Some people don't like the blade design. I like that it's unique. I like that it's got a bottle opener. I am a Trident apologist, and I will not stop. The G10 is grippy, much grippier than the Nautilus. I think there's a lot of character to this design. I don't know. Honestly, one of the crown jewels of my collection is this custom Orion 1.0. It's got limited edition purple Anno special floral laser etching, as well as green to match it. The purple ones are smidge beat. I got it from Warwack, who also made these custom wooden spacers. Unfortunately, because they are wood, they are prone to like bend and warp, and I tried to push it from inside and it like snapped a little bit. Thankfully, it is holding up pretty well still, so you can't even see the snap where it happened. But with these spacers, this is fucking neutral, and I love this. Is legitimately one of my favorite flippers, and it's also one of my cheaper ones. With the spacers and the shipping, as well as the comb blade, which I had to get extra. It ended up being probably closer to like 160, but frankly, I love this to death. Anyone that doesn't hate it, like hates on aluminum. Also, it's got a zippy tang insert. So yeah, I have a lot of pride in this. This is the OSP Matrix number 6 out of 8. There's a serial number along one of these ridges. I don't know if I can find it right now. It's kind of hard to see, especially in this lighting. Oh, there it is. Here it is, 6 of 8. OSP is a guy who went under, and a lot of people said that he's a criminal, which is kind of up for debate, but he definitely fucked up, and his machining process fucked up. So, unfortunately, there's not a lot of matrices. This one has texture. I find this kind of coarse. Purple yellow ano, and a blade from Doyle knives, or Doyle blades. Here's the OSP logo. It also has a stupid spanner that you need to tighten it, but it's pretty good. And aluminum spacers. This knife is weird because it's got a lot of tip weight and a lot of ass weight. And no, I'm a liar. It does have that, but mostly it has pivot weight. This retailed for $900. Sometimes I wonder if I'm going to sell this. It's a funky guy. I don't know. I like it though, and I think the Tanto looks really cool. Next we have the, we have the Toa Hades. Frankly, if you like the Solo, this is half the price. You can get it sharpened. This is an unsharpened version, but the point is still pointy. This is from the Chinese run, so it's like number 96 out of 100. The American run, the Bravo run, or Beta run, I should say, was out of 200. Cool floating spacers. You can theoretically modify the weight. I think it feels really good right now. I like how the hardware looks, albeit it does get stripped. I think the original seller stripped it. Cool hollow grind blade. I think this is really neat. It's a good Balisong. It's a bit chunky in the hands, but again, if you like the Solo, this is just half the price. It's got a good design. So shout out to Toa. Next we have the Fellowship Gaboon. Really, really light. 3.3 ounces, I want to say. I'm going to get Blocks to do. Blocks was like, oh, I want to do this mermaid ano. This is number 17. Unfortunately, Fellowship does not do ano jobs. And I'm like, please do your mitochondria ano or your acid rain ano. And he's just like, nope. And he is also not good at responding in messages. Anyways, this has no spacer, but 2 weight pins in. Honestly, I think it could be even less for my preferences. Yeah. I could get zippy spacers. They are a bit pricey. Not unfair, just pricey. So there's just like a smidge, just the teensiest smidge of handle bias, but with how light this knife is, it doesn't not need it. Anyways, Grant, consider making a Mega Boon, just a bigger, heavier version. And by heavier, I mean like 4.2 ounces. Not that I don't like, I really like this, but like consider, it could sell better. Here we have the A51 Pluto, number 19. This is a anodization that goes along the sides and the inserts, but like a polished flat. I did the inking here. I really like this gut plate. Unfortunately, I did tip it outside of the car rental waiting for my partner to, well, my ex. I'm divorced. Anyways, Pluto. Chunky, similar to the Hades in that like chunky feeling, kind of hefty. Really like the blade shape. Very, very different from the Phobos. No jimping. I wish there was just a little bit of jimping. But this is a really cool knife. Also, A51's a real one, and so I'm not afraid to shout them out. Next, we have the Ski Bones. This one is like 3.1 ounces. It has aluminum spacers, and I got this anodization done by Blocks. Took a while, took a couple of tries, but really happy with how it came out. A blackened blade on the Ski Bone. But this tuned and with thick lube, oh my god, it's a dream. It is a dream. This dry, I was like, it's cool, but then when I put lube in this, holy shit, it's got this really cool ring. You can feel the entire handles reverberate because of how skeletal it is. Anyways, really happy with how this came out. So thanks, Blocks. Yeah, it's really light. I am tempted to try an Artemis because originally I thought this was an Artemis. Part of why I wanted this anodization is because I thought of Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, and I just kind of associated her with green and gold. Alas, it is a ski bones. This is the Haystack Carlo, named after John Carlo, old school Balisong. They are apparently designing another version, and I'm just saying, hey, maybe you should just market this because this knife is great. It's really long, but it flips wonderfully. And instead of just designing a new knife because you think the old one's not selling, just market it. It's got good tolerances. Haystack in general has really good tolerances, really good knives. People who like Haystack knives tend to collect multiple of them. I certainly have a few myself. But yeah, it's good. It was really scary sharp at first, I think. No, it was the other one. I traded a Seraph V2 for this. I was thinking about possibly getting some jeweling done, but maybe I'll just leave it raw. I asked Old School Balisong himself what he would do, and he's like, honestly, raw or toxic ano. But I got a toxic ano on my DMC. Also Haystack. This toxic ano was done by Blocks. I think they did a really good job. There was some issue with the pivots because there's just a little bit of play because of the reassembly and disassembly went a little bit awry. Anyways, though, DMC rings like a dream. I cannot imagine how this would be with like rock solid tolerances, but all in all, really good, lightweight, really good flipper. I do find that these grooves kind of in the middle, similarly with the Carlo. I find that it's not the most comfortable to hold, but it does provide grip. And this knife was, oh my god, unbelievably sharp. Great ring though. Next we have the Heibel Valor Prototype 5. This is Heibel's first production knife. Really cool. It's on ceramic bearings, a bit hefty. Got this really nice scimitar blade. Yeah, a lot of people don't like bearings, but this knife, despite being 5 ounces, is so agile and smooth, and I really like the design. I find it to be very comfortable in the hand. It flips really nicely, and the ceramic bearings are like a nice mix between the speed of steel bearings, but the control of bushings. A really cool knife. Hard to find though. Next we have the NRB Slight. This one is a really solid standard knife. It's pretty light, just under 4 ounces. I have blade insert or handle inserts because I prefer that feeling. And a mirror polished blade in black ano. I believe both done by Blake. Eric was the previous owner of this. Slight honestly is like really good mid-range price titanium Balisong. Lightweight, very thin handles, not for everyone per se, but it is pretty like good standard feeling. It's got some nice jimping. It's got a really solid Tanto design. Would recommend. It's a good knife. Sorry, I felt one of the inserts feeling kind of loose. Okay, next we have the Goose. Blackened handles, blackened blade-ish blade. Goose is a funky weird Balisong because it's got a lot of spine weight, which is like a reverse kukri. So instead of having a lot of tip weight going forward, it has a lot of weight that leans back, which you feel especially doing rollovers. Rollovers, unfortunately, also feel very inconsistent depending on which handle you're holding, the bite and the safe handle. That said, this fans really wonderfully. Someone very near and dear to me I call Goose, so this kind of makes me think of them to an extent. I do feel like the corners are just a little bit rough. And these are titanium spacers, but there are also zirconium spacers that are extra heavy. Did you know that zirconium is just like the element like directly below titanium on the periodic table, hence why it's just a heavier version of titanium? I had to see a periodic table and I was like, oh cool. Anyways, Goose is funky. Fans very nicely though. This is my Major Rallis Rep. It is Cerakote sealer on the hammer scales. I think these are FF Neo tri-hole liners. There's a white Cerakote on the inside and gold ano on the outside. TrueLink hardware, aluminum I think these are aluminum channel, or maybe these are titanium channel spacers from FF and a stock Tanto from BRS. This is really wonderful. It flips very neutrally. It feels really good. Um, it's got the kind of thickness that you'd expect from a rep. I will say, unfortunately, there's just a teeny bit of blade rub, and that's not Major Alice's fault. This is a really well-tuned knife. It's just an issue of reps in general. So, yeah, this knife is really cool. Really, really, really good mod work from Aaron. Here we have the Channel Reaper V1 from Black Balisong. I love this coarse stone texture blade and this toxic anno. Look at these fucking waves. Holy shit, that's beautiful. Just a little bit more handle bias than my preference. It's got a ring to it. It's got coarse handles. Nothing too crazy. Unfortunately, Black Balisong does use some like small hardware, not very good hardware either. So I felt like I was feeling some play, but it does feel pretty good for the most part. As much as I sometimes think about departing with this, it's just so pretty. Alright, next we have my plastic Balisongs. First we have the fucking Zabiz Carrot Balisong from Amazon. This, combined with this little guy, which I'll get to, I'll probably cover these three. It's like $10, I think. It's the cheapest Balisong I own. It's fucking garbage. It's hilarious. It's not good, but it's a good toy. And, I mean, you can beat the shit out of this. Like, this thing is probably worth literal cents in terms of the actual manufacturing cost, but when it comes to buying this online, you can get this and this for like $10. This is really bad. It's so funny, but it's both so bad it's so funny. And oh yeah, next I was gonna do this one. This one is the small carrot. It is so small it is virtually impossible to flip. You cannot chaplain it. It's funny. It is arguably better than this one. It feels better made. But it's a silly small carrot, and it's still not good. I'll close this. We have the Quad by Fidget Fly. The Quad is like $23, I think, for custom colors, or $20 for, I think, solid colors. It did crack. I did have to super glue part of it. But honestly, for a Balisong that was designed to be on a keychain and very unthreatening, it is a funky flipper, but I mean, it's very unapologetic. It's very clear about what it's trying to be and what it's not trying to be. So I think it's a very good design. And apparently the maker is like only 18. I'm like, what the fuck? So honestly, good job, Fidget Fly. This is pretty cool. Oh, I should have nominated this for the Bally Awards. This is honestly one of the most innovative designs. Oh well. Here we have the Boker Yoda, a solid EDC knife. It's very small, but hey, it does the job. Good Cerakote blade, and it's pretty sharp. I used it to cut the foam of my case, and yeah, that said, it flips like shit. I mean, look at it. It's small. It's got like no blade weight, and I keep the latch on because more than that, you know, it's like an EDC knife. Okay, anyways, back to my plastic Balisongs. We have the Cycloid HD. I had to remove one of the discs and put in two weights. It's really hard to remove the discs, but one of the most modular weight systems. Zippy really outdid himself in this. I think this is absolutely worth the price. So it's like $100, but yeah. And also I got the exclusive 4 screen that is only available for the Cycloid HD, possibly the Cycloid 2.1, and the Bandage Stitch. Oh, I miss my Stitch. This is really good. This is the best plastic Balisong that you can get. I honestly think that. That said, it is twice the price of some of these other ones. Here's the Tay Flipper. The Tay Flipper is interesting because it has a concave sort of like bite indicator on the bite side, whereas this is really smooth. It's hard to see in this video, I'm sorry. And it's trans colors. So I got this used. Tay Flipper is pretty nice. It is a little bit noisy when it closes, but yeah, it's pretty good balance. That said, the Calico feels like a hybrid of the Tay Flipper and the Edit Light, which I'll get to later. But the Calico is a channel version, so unlike having its channel spacers, which I don't know, I mean, yeah, you can see it here. This is a channel. It does not have a bite indicator, and it does have 4 balls instead of 3 balls. It's heftier. It's really solid. I don't flip it as often as I really think I should, but this is really well made. And for the price, I think it's good. That said, Tay is not the best at responding, and he finally did hire someone to help handle the communication, so that's good. But my friend, when she bought hers, came warped out of box, and that's unfortunate. So hopefully that's being addressed. Also, one thing that this has is that it has like the sort of rubber stoppy thing, so closing is not nearly as loud. It being plastic and on washers, I'm pretty sure the Tay Flipper taps as well. Let me double check that. Just yeah, that's not their fault though. That's just the beast of plastic washers only Balisongs. To continue, here is the edit light. Here we go. Sorry, edit light. I got this from Telestro, and he basically picked the exact same thing I would have picked except for the color. He also gave me a proto edit, but I sold that because the edit light is just better than the prototype. It's a bit heavy and clunky. I flew with this to California and it got through TSA perfectly fine, but I was like, man, I really miss flipping other things. So I've taken a long break. It's got some good weights. This extra texture on it too, that does make it cost more, like closer to 70. But yeah, this is a really good one. And it's a lot of fun. I think the edit light is really solid, but oh, actually this one doesn't have tap. Well, actually maybe it does a little bit. It's not a huge deal. Next we have a Chroma 2.5. This is a European Balisong. It's got here. It looks really cool. It's really sleek. However, not Chroma's fault at all. Block sold this to me, and the handles were warped. I have used a heated pot to help try to de-warp it, but it did seem to kind of return to its previous shape, albeit it was worse before. Chroma is pretty good. I hope to be able to flip a proper one. It's very smooth in the hands. I do like how it feels. So hopefully I can try a V3 at some point, which has more weight at the tip. Like kind of like the Calico and Tay Flipper, it has just various ball bearings, opposed to this like the brass beams that are inserted within the blade, which I think is a really cool design. This is the Cubed Ink. Sorry, the Cubed Ink plastic 3D printed Balisong on Etsy. It is very loud. I'm not going to flip it because it is late and it like clacks like a motherfucker. This is cheap, like real cheap. This is, I want to say like 20 bucks, but you can pick all your colors. I do think it's an interesting design. And so for a 3D printed Balisong on Etsy for like 20 something bucks, I think this is really solid. Really, really solid. It is very loud. It's very loud. It's also very tall. All right, now before I get to down here, let me do my normal Balisongs. Here are my aluminum live blades. This is the Series V3 Cerakote Teal, a little bit of scuff, nice shiny blade. This ain't mirror polish, no it's not. But I really like the Series. A bit of handle bias, but oh my god, a really amazing classy sound. I really like the design. I think it's brilliant. As someone who owns basically every LDY knife and has owned all of them at some point except for the newest ones, Sirius really does stand on its own between the Orion and the Cygnus. Really, really nice. Honestly, I think I like it more than the Kraken. Next we have the aluminum turbid. The channel aluminum turbid opposed to the Chanwich titanium turbid. This one is dead neutral. Unbelievably one of the most neutral knives I flipped. Really gorgeous dual tone blade. Black anno. Really, really nice. It is definitely a lot clackier sound-wise than the titanium turbid. It has a different blade shape. I actually prefer this blade shape. And yeah, it's more neutral, so I actually like the cheaper aluminum one more than the titanium one, which is a shame to an extent, but also, hey, cool, I'm not super biased. This is the Koenig Cerakote, I believe by Major Rallis, the Zombie Cerakote. This is an ROTB reblade, Harpoon Tanto, dual tone, really gorgeous. Sorry, it's not focusing as much as I want it to. Hello. It's just a really pretty blade, steel tone, but I'm not sure if that's coming across. Because it's supposed, yeah, here, you can see the dual tone. Really like the Koenig having a weight system that you can just screw in from the bottom. That said, it is also pretty handle biased, so I think I have medium weights in there, and I just made peace with the fact that this is handle biased. This is also very clacky, and I did record this and put it in my video game, Whisker Squadron Survivor, which you should play on Steam. It's also on the Steam Deck, and it's been really popular. This is the aluminum GN. I had Garvit do the polishing of the chamfers. Unfortunately, it's not exactly the best job. The aluminum GN with good tolerances is really nice. This is actually really rock steady tolerances. Much, much better than the titanium GN in my opinion. I have not flipped a G10 one. It's got a nice ring to it, and it's also dead neutral. This is also an unsharpened blade, albeit still kind of pointy. So this and the Turbid are like two of the most neutral Balisongs I've ever flipped. I'll get to the third one soon, but before that we have the Icarus. Static Knives Icarus, blackened blade, gorgeous red blue. I love this knife. This knife is amazing. It rings like a motherfucker. It's got a really beautiful, unique design. It is unapologetic on what it wants to be, and I love that for it, because while some people don't like the ends of the handles like this, I think it looks great. I just wish there was some better grip. Anyways, the Icarus is really, really brilliant. I think the design is excellent. I had a Galvanus Chungus, and then I got this thinking I would flip it for a profit, only to realize I like this more. I do find that the handle grip is a little annoying, but I could not unscrew the Galvanus handles. Anyways, though, this Japanese Tanto blade with these aluminum amp handles from Frankenforge, also goddamn neutral, like one of the most neutral knives. So buttery smooth, very clacky, nice sound, but really loud at this hour. Anyways, yeah, the amp honestly kind of slept on. At least amp with Japanese Tanto. But I am not an aluminum hater like some people are. Here we have the Dash Designs 3D printed giant Balisong on Etsy. It is very handle bias. It is got some slap, but the person who made this is not a Balisong flipper himself. The pins unfortunately do pop out sometimes. He did give me spares, but like just looking at this, it's not gonna. This thing is not gonna hold it. Like, you would need a much thicker, otherwise it would get destroyed. So, frankly, keeping it like that, it's fine. It's really fun, and it does flip. I have a video of me flipping this. We have the UFO. This is so close to being pretty alright, but it's very meh. It's very meh. It's honestly really disappointing, because had they done a little bit more design and intentionality on certain things, it would be okay. And okay is alright for, this is free except for shipping. This could have been okay, but it's not. It's kind of bad, and that's a shame. This is my first Balisong. This is by Mall Metal, Mallmetal. Weird aesthetic on Instagram, I will say. But this does have a battery. You can power a light. You can use it for a vape. I have the flute head because I think that's hilarious. The flute sounds like shit, though. I don't pretend that it sounds good, and honestly, that's fine. You can customize this however you want, and for someone who didn't really know about Balisong trainers, or, well, I mean, I knew about it, but I thought it was really cool. This thing was like 80 bucks. It did crack at some point because I flipped it and dropped it a bunch, but for someone interested in Balisong flipping but doesn't want to actually learn, this is a pretty fun thing, and it's designed to be a fidget, and I made it transcolored. It's fun. You can honestly customize this however you want. So while it is not really a Balisong, or at least not a proper Balisong flipper, I don't regret buying this, and I do think it's very fun. This is a Phobos that's currently being paid off. Here's some hardware and oils. Okay, this is a funky 3D printed Karambit Balisong. It is not a good Balisong. It is not a good Karambit. There is no latch. I wish there was. And there's no pin, as you can see by this dowel. I had to stick it in there. It is, you can't do Karambit tricks because it just falls out like this. You can't do Balisong tricks. We have a Karambit trainer that I traded the G10 Orca clone for. That is a pretty decent trainer. We have this 3D printed comb. It's also really doesn't have like hardware. I had to like get some shitty hardware, and so I'm not afraid to flip it. But it's 3D printed. My friend printed it. It's got no weight to it. I'll leave it at that for now. And now the pièce de résistance that a lot of people ask me about. This is a gag gift from Goose, and you have a set of spoon, fork, comb. I'll do the comb last, I guess, just because it's in front. Spoon is the best flipper of these. Unfortunately, they had such terrible tuning initially that they did not like have free handle swing, and I had to virtually destroy this shit hardware in order to just get it to swing. Spoon is the best of it. It is not good. It has mostly tip weight. It's flat. Like, what the fuck are you gonna eat with this? You can't have soup with this. Yeah. Spoon. I'll just put this here for now. Then we have fork. Fork has got even less tip weight. This one actually did have free handle swing, but yeah, it flips bad. It's got less blade weight, and so fanning this sucks. But I mean, you can still do rollovers. Is this worth it? No, fuck this. It's like $15, I think, on Amazon. And then lastly, you have the comb, which for some fucking reason was backwards. The latch was on the wrong side. It was on the safe side. This comb is fucking shit. It was also completely filthy. And again, it did not have free handle swing. The comb flips not good either, frankly speaking. It just doesn't flip good. If you want a good comb, just get an Orion. It's a much thicker tooth comb, but still, just get an Orion. Anyways, that is my entire collection. I guess I can attempt to summarize my thoughts on the Balisongs that are currently MIA. Stitch is really good. It is a really great design for something that was, it's a first time design. I do think the Stitch is great, and I would recommend. The Starlight is really inexpensive. It's really cool. I do think that the anodized titanium blade is really nice looking. No regrets on buying it, at least for now. I hope to get it back soon. Superfly is a similarly funky knife. I think it's underrated. I think that people are really undervaluing it, and then it just keeps it's like getting sold for like less than $300, and I think that's kind of criminal because the Superfly is really fun. The Rich is kind of like a rip. It has also unfortunate blade rub and tap, but it is a really cool design, and I really like it, and I think there's a lot of character to it. I am struggling putting this in. There we go. So yeah, just to zoom out. I just sat on my cat. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Anyways, I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, here are my knives. My 3 cheaper Balisongs here. The ones that I'm not sure if I'm going to keep. I mean, this is worth a lot of money, so we'll see if I keep this. Those are my video game awards, because I am good at my job. I write video game music, as well as cover Balisongs. And yeah, I should have more Balisongs coming in soon, so thank you for my just under an hour video covering every Balisong I own. I have a video before this that covers every Balisong I previously owned and then sold, or traded, or whatever the fuck. And yeah, and there should be a few more on the way, as well as some temp trades that I'm very excited to cover. So thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe. Check out my reviews for all of these if you want more in-depth coverage on them, and like the video. Tell me which one your favorite is. What are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts on any of these? I have all of these for a reason. And so yeah. Let me know in the comments what you think. Which one's your favorite? What do you think is cool, or do you want to learn more about, or I don't know. Just let me know your thoughts. And yeah. Check out the coffee in the description also if you would be willing to help me out, because this is all out of pocket. I'm not rich. I'm just sad divorced, and I'm not actually married, but wedding money That didn't. Anyways, you didn't need to hear my sob story. Thanks for tuning in. Cool knife goes. Just go spitty.